All right. Y'all have gone too far now. Y'all pissing the rich people off now. So apparently out in St. Louis, and I read over the story just one time. I don't remember the mayor's name, and she's really not the focal point of it. But okay. What's the popular term going on right now? They call all the white women Karen, right? Karen. So y'all done went to the suburbs and got Kevin and Karen up in arms. Okay. Kevin and Karen don't play. We see you. They come out with the guns. To keep the protesters away. They wasn't having none of this shit. Oh, man. Before I go any farther, let's give some background here. So apparently in St. Louis, there was the calls, as we're hearing all over the place, to defund the police. The mayor of St. Louis then does a Facebook Live, I think, video or something, where she's reading off names and whatever of people who've made suggestions. Somehow this gets into public record, and as a result, it basically doxed a lot of these people by giving out like their partial address and everything. And so now people know who they are and can target them and blah, 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 blah. But apparently it's also a common practice there when you go to town hall, county council meetings. They've expressed that you have to submit your address and whatnot. So, not extremely familiar with the background of it, but I guess here's what is again standing out to me. What am I hearing when I hear a bunch of protesters who are complaining that people's names and information were given out who have wanted a change? And it's not like I think she just made a deliberate video where she's just like, just so you know, I don't agree with any of these people, and here's their information if you want to go look them up. Understand this, first and foremost, okay? You've got people out here in the street protesting, which is their, First Amendment right. Nothing wrong with that. But you're going out of your way to be heard and to make a scene, but you don't want people to know who you are. Why? Why does that bother you that bad? Now, I know some people are going to say, well, you could be targeted, you could be killed, you could be this, you could be that. So? Take me, for example. Now, I've got a private life outside of here. Potentially, just doing this YouTube channel could really fuck with that outside life if things ever went the wrong way, I guess, couldn't it? Could probably affect my job, could probably affect my personal life. And it honestly wouldn't be that hard for people to kind of figure out anything about me if they took the time to, do a background check. There's only going to be so many Charles Andersons in South Carolina, and I've also given you my hometown. That would narrow it down, I would imagine. So it wouldn't be that hard to find out much about me. If you really are going to take things that far. I mean, what the fuck? Once again, goes back to what I've said before. Grow some nuts. Seriously. Have some balls. Oh, you got balls enough to go burn shit down, tear things down, but you ain't got balls enough people know who you are. Oh no, we want to go out as a protest and destroy stuff and wreak havoc, but you can't know who we are, because if you know who we are, the police might come arrest us. And see, we want to go out and break laws as a protest, but we don't want to pay any sort of consequence or repercussions for our actions. No. No, we can't have none of that. This is a mentality that I keep seeing out of all these spoiled, entitled people. Now, some might say, well, these are Black Lives Matter protesters. Black people are not being spoiled around this country. Touche. There's also plenty of those overprivileged white folk in these protests too, right? They make up a good chunk of some of these protesters. I've seen them. So what's your defense for these guys? Okay. Nonetheless, this goes right back to something that I've said in the past. The protesters of yesteryear, they didn't care if they went to jail. See, they were that fed up with the system that they were going to go out, do the protest, and whatever the consequences were, I'll deal with it. They were willing to make that sacrifice. But for a bunch of kids, basically, to go hit the street and tear some stuff up, or give the appearance they might be about to tear some stuff up, but then they got a problem with their identity being revealed because, well, then they could get arrested later on, or it puts them on a criminal list. Hey, you know, as they say in crime, I heard people say this a lot. You know, the kids back in school who tried to be in the gangs, right? You either about that life or you're not. So either you're about the life of the revolutionary, you're about the life of the protester, you're about the life of the martyr who's going to go out there and make a statement to bring about change regardless of what happens to me or not, or you're not. There's no such thing as a half-ass revolutionary. And if there was, they probably weren't a successful one. They didn't get the revolution they wanted because they half-assed it. And as we all know in this world, you don't get nothing from half-assing it. That's a cold, hard fact of reality. Either you're all in on a protest for this change, or you're not. But wrapping it up on this, apparently, going back to Kevin and Karen, there's a whole lot of people who were pissed off that they drew the guns. Because in their little uptight, uptown suburban community, you know, they're all uptight, so they're going to pull the gun at the drop of a hat. Possibly. I mean, that does sound in reason. But y'all are walking on their property. And I don't believe they invited you on that property. So once again, right back to what I just said, it amuses me. You have walked onto someone's property. You have trespassed onto their property. This ain't the mayor of the town. I don't know, was this woman or this man related to her? I don't know. I have no clue. I don't even know that there is any kind of a connection between that mayor and these, you know, polo wearing people. Okay, I don't know. I have no idea. If somebody's got some information, go ahead, by all means, share it with me. But I don't know. What I do know is they wasn't having it. And you can argue, well, they're uptight and the rich should be afraid and this and that. Okay. Let me tell you something about this whole the rich should be afraid type thing. You back most things into a corner where they feel like they have to fight back, and they do. Back a scared dog into a corner, it'll attack to try to defend itself in most cases. A lot of animals do that. When they feel that they have to fight, they will. These rich people are used to having everything go their way. You come after them. Is it really that hard to understand? There could be some pushback. Now, again, do what you want to do. Do what you want to do. I'm not telling you one way or the other how you want to go about it. The only thing I'm saying, because it's not my fight. I'm not an active Black Lives Matter protester. Do I believe there's issues? Yes. Do I believe that they need to be fixed? Yes. Do I believe there's a particular way to go about them? Yes. And do I believe the way to go about them is the way they're trying to go about them, with ripping down statues and making an ass of myself stomping through a town? No. Now, you could protest. And if you get enough numbers for your protest and you all have the right cause and you go about it the right way, sure, could really do some good. Problem is you don't have everyone on the uniform page. Yeah, they all say they want something, but they're going about it completely different ways. Some are peaceful, some are not. Some are halfway violent, some are not. Some are very violent, some are not. You don't have the unison. That being said, again, these people are used to having it their way. They're used to living in that gated community where nobody bothered them. You go stomping on their property and make them feel uncomfortable. If somebody gets shot, what are you expecting to happen exactly? What you think you're just gonna walk on someone's property and show your ass and they're just gonna sit there and let you do it? This is St. Louis, Missouri that this happened in, right? Let me tell you what happens. I know, we're nothing but a bunch of racist motherfuckers. But here's what happens when you walk on the wrong property in the good old dirty South, uninvited, and don't leave. To quote Fred G. Sanford, and the G stands for going places. You be going places all right. You be going to the afterlife. Get your hat brought to the hospital. Okay? They will shoot your ass and ask questions later around here. You don't do that to somebody. You don't walk on their property to show your ass. And when they tell you to leave, don't leave. Yeah, oh yes, there's some around in South Carolina. There's some who would call the police. Oh, but wait a minute. That's calling the police. That's calling the police, right? Y'all don't want that. Y'all don't want the police. Listen to some of those protesters in that town where it's taking place. They're telling the mayor to resign and take the police with her. So they don't want the police. So you wouldn't have that option that you get for some of the nice people around here that call police. You don't want a police. Who the fuck they gonna call? There ain't nobody to call at that point. The cops are gone. Now, I know you've got some of the ones who are more reasonable that say, well, we still want a form of police. Okay. But that ain't everybody. Some people are calling for completely getting rid of the police. Understand that. And if they got their way, that option wouldn't be there. So when you take that option away, what do you think all these little white Kevin and Karens are going to do? You walk on their property uninvited and make them feel threatened, even if you're not carrying weapons. Just make them feel threatened. They might react in a way you don't like. But again, don't go into it basically saying that no one should do anything that would be offensive in any way, shape, or form or threatening to you if you're willing to throw their concern out the window. You go on their property and make them feel threatened or concerned, they might try to do something to make you feel threatened or concerned so that you leave, because asking you to leave probably ain't going to do it. That'd be about the equivalent of somebody breaking into my home and I walk to them. Sir. I'm sure this was just a bad mistake. I'm sure you meant nothing by it. But I just wanted you to know, this wasn't your house. No, this isn't your house. This is where I live. This is my humble abode. And, sir, you have entered the wrong house. I would appreciate it if you would please leave. Because me and my wife are getting ready to have supper. Yes, we're going to have supper. I'm going to drink my fine wine. Would you please leave? And I hope you have a blessed day, sir. Yeah, I bet that motherfucker gonna leave my house. No, we wouldn't leave your house. You'd probably have to make him leave your house if you could. So again, understand, if this is the path you want to take, if this is the path that these protesters choose to go down, there needs to be an understanding you're still protesting in the real world, and you will get real world reactions when you do it. The world around you that you're protesting against, or whatever is not going to just change their reactions simply because you think they should. No. You make them feel threatened and they're going to react. If you don't want that kind of a reaction, then the simplest solution would be to not make them feel threatened. But if you insist you're going to do it come hell or high water, and there's blood, there's death, there's injury, and there's shootings, once again, you bet if this is your path, this is the way you think is best, be ready to get some skin in the game. If I keep saying it, and I'm going to keep saying it, okay? If you ain't going to walk the walk, don't talk the talk. So if you ain't going to walk the walk, quit pissing the Karens and Kevins off